We welcome you to episode 58 of Battin and Chattin here in the Eastern Observer. Alongside Denis Tuohy, I'm Brandon Natale. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept in on the loop on everything Eastern Observer and most importantly, Battin and Chattin. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Our show is presented to you by Black Cats NYC. Be sure to download their newest hit single, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, Satellite Radio, and many others. Dennis, I know we were talking before the show. I know you don't seem too thrilled right now. I know
No, I'm really not.
I know you've been waiting for this moment
I'm really not.
for the past half hour. So, what is grinding your gears, man? Let me hear it.
Okay, first and foremost, let's run it back. We didn't do a show last week. And I want to apologize to our audience for not doing the show. My fault. We usually record Wednesday nights. I was leaving Thursday for a trip. Last minute packing, last minute this, that, the other.
Right.
Truth be told, I didn't realize I was going to get delayed leaving as much as I did, so we probably could have fit it in. Whatever. We didn't, and I was also away that previous weekend as well, so I didn't watch any baseball. I didn't know what happened, and I felt like I don't want to do a show if I'm going to,
Right.
mail it in. So, sorry, guys, for those of you who are unexpected. Sorry. Second of all, follow us on our social media platforms, and you'll be up to date more on our day-to-day lives, and if we're canceling shows, things like that, we'll keep you in the know.
Right.
That's one. Two, I had a lovely weekend. 2 weekends in a row. Saw family
That's great,
one
man.
weekend, saw friends the next. Doing great.
That's great, bro.
Come back from our trip. I'm on cloud 9. Yesterday I had work. Honestly, work not been so bad lately. They put me in a new department. The ships are flying by. Busy as a bee.
Right.
But the ships are flying by. Okay. We don't mind it. Barbecue at work today. Labor Day barbecue, a little delayed. I don't know why they always did the barbecues on the Wednesday now instead of the day of the actual holidays. Whatever. I didn't work Monday. I worked today. So thanks for the burger and dogs.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We love
Moving
to talk
on.
with burger and dogs.
Okay, so now to baseball. Baseball, America's pastime, my favorite sport. Those of you who don't know, I once interviewed for MLB Network to get a job. Would have been behind the scenes. Would have been a research role. But I like baseball.
Right.
Had the book, Sporting News, 100 Greatest Players of All Time. The whole thing. MLB Network.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Old school MLB Network. Prime 9. And Baseball IQ and all those kinds of shows. Yeah, watched all of them. Diehard baseball fan. Tops Attacks. Had them all. Loved them. Do you remember Tops Attacks? One of the best card games ever.
Yes.
I love a good trading card game. Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! A little complicated, but I like it. Where is this going to? I like baseball. I hate baseball now. I hate it.
Wow.
I hate it.
Things are hard. What happened there? Do you train?
I like the sport. I hate what's been going on to me. The Yankees, I quit the Yankees. Those of you listening or watching, I'll elaborate shortly.
You are not rocking with the Yankees right now, D-Train? What's going on
I'm
right
not
now?
wearing the Yankee jerseys. I'm not wearing a Yankees hat. The stupid gimmicks that are kind of lame. I don't understand why when we do shows like this, and I've had other podcast companies and things like that I've either worked for and then the company went out of business. That happened once. Or, other shows, whatever, they say, try to get sports memorabilia behind you. I think it's tacky. I think it's gimmicky. I think it's kind of lame. But sometimes, I like how you're wearing your shirt right now. You don't look lame. You look great. Keep doing you, Brandon. Rocking the Lindor. Why wouldn't you? We're talking about Lindor.
Right.
He's been on
Rocking
fire.
Lindor
Lately.
Potential NL MVP talks for Lindor. Who would have thought after batting 190 to start the year?
Yeah.
190. Now he's talked about being MVP. That's crazy. I know we're going to get to that later. Keep going, D-Train.
No Yankees jerseys. No Yankees jerseys. No little gimmicks. No nothing. No Paul Pierce baseball.
No Paul Pierce baseball. That's crazy.
Nothing.
Not even a Hideki Matsui jersey.
Done.
I know. Are you done with Clay Holmes?
The Yankees.
I mean,
done with Clay Holmes. Done with Clay Holmes. Done with Brian Cashman. Aaron Boone. I don't really know how much of it is his fault. He seems like such a good guy.
I feel like he's definitely
slowly starting to boil over on him. And you know who else I'm done with? What's this jobber's name?
John Carlos Stanton.
No, don't say that. I like him.
No, I like Stanton too. I'm not, but I don't know how some Yankee
Stupid.
fans feel because
What's Astro Boy? Who Spencer Arrighetti. Thanks for costing me fantasy today. Negative 30 points. Thank you. Thanks for showing up, Spencer. Attaboy, Spence. Attaboy. Didn't waste $50 in the fantasy baseball league so you can, have the worst start of your career. Thanks. Hey, turn it around. I know they don't really they always have the athletes like that get DM like, thanks for ruining my parlay.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. They respond to that so it could go viral. But you ask, can they, can you give me a 10-minute interview or who do I have to contact? And all of a sudden they don't respond to you.
Oh my God.
Over it. So thanks to the negative 30 points, dude. Thanks.
Are you gonna DM him? Are you gonna DM him
playoffs.
later after this, or are you
This is
gonna?
the playoffs. Why would I?
I hope you
much
don't.
like the stupid memorabilia behind people that do the podcasts or the shows. It's stupid, it's gimmicky, and it's lame. Speaking of lame, the Yankees. How you doing? Not good. I'll answer it for them. Horrible. Clay Holmes can't close a briefcase, let alone a freaking game. Done. 11 blown saves this season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
11 blown saves. First of all, could you imagine if he got all 11 of those saves? The Yankees would have 91 wins right now.
Say it again.
That's crazy. The Yankees, if they didn't blow those 11 saves, if they won them, I mean, I'm sure maybe some of those are actual wins or something like that. I don't know. Blown saves get weird sometimes. Point I'm trying to make, we'd be in a much better spot if our closer just pitched like a closer. Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, not everybody can be Mariano Rivera, Dennis. Not everybody can be Goose Gossage, Dennis. Not everybody can be Dave Rigetti, Dennis. I know. Not everybody could be John Wetland. Not everybody could be Andrew Miller. Not everybody could be Aroldis Chapman before he went off the deep end. Not everybody could be Boone Logan. Remember that guy? He had a couple moments for us. I get it. Yankees fans are spoiled. I've been saying all year long, I don't have any concerns about the bullpen because the Yankees haven't had a bad bullpen since the 1970s. I've been saying it all year long. I trust them when making bullpen decisions. Then we send down Michael Tonkin. Okay.
That guy's
he was actually doing well for us.
Yeah, he was doing really good for you guys.
And then we keep using Clay Holmes, who keeps blowing saves, can't get strikeouts, was walking the ballpark. And then it's like the game right before it gets blown. Who they have warming up in the bullpen? Luke Weaver. Great. I don't care what the stats say about Luke Weaver. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I'm sure he's a young player. He's going to have a great career. God bless his heart. Anytime I watch him pitch, like watch him on TV, it feels like the exact same thing. It's like Groundhog Day. 3 straight walks, 3 straight strikeouts. Every single time. Like, I'm so over it.
You guys seem to bring up
potential is so high for this team. The Yankees scored 6 runs yesterday. We still lost. The Yankees scored, 4 runs yesterday? We still lost? So it's easy to point and say, like, Alex Verdugo hasn't been playing as well as he should have been. Well as he should be. Over the last, month or so, about 3 weeks, whatever, he's been very good offensively. All right, Gleyber Torres sucks. I get it. Those are all the stupid regular callers that call into the shows and things like that. All that they always go after the hitters because it's easy. It's easy to say so and so is 0 for 4. It's hard to say, you know what? Why do we just keep losing? I'm over it. I'm so done because the potential of this team is so high. When this team is on, they're the best team in the league. I don't even think it's a debate.
Beginning of the year, you guys had that great start.
I don't even think it's a debate that they're the best team in the league when everything is firing on all cylinders. Who are you gonna intentionally walk? You have Judge, Soto, Chisholm, or Wells batting fourth. Stanton, the other one out of Wells and Chisholm. You know, Rizzo's had good at bats since coming back. Like they're good. They have good
Yeah.
players. Garrett Cole had another a good start, so hopefully that can continue to ramp up. We don't have a closer. And guess what was on the market in droves this trade deadline? Brandon, take a guess.
How many watched for the trade deadline?
So many of what? What position? What could we have gotten? A closer, Brandon. I'll just say it for you. A
You
closer.
probably could have got
Sorry,
another closer.
it took too long. Tanner Scott is an eighth inning guy for the freaking Padres. Why? I don't know. That's their business, not mine. Worry about your own yard. We could have gotten Tanner Scott from the Marlins. Okay. We could have gotten Mason Miller from the A's, although their asking price was high. We could have gotten what's his name from the White Sox. I know that's not good to say. What's his name when you're supposed to know what you're talking about? But I'm just shooting from the hip here. What's his name? Am I thinking of Kopech or am I thinking? I always get him and the other dude they had on their team confused all the time. White Sox closer Alex Colomé. Yeah, it's Michael Kopech is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I mean, what? Finnegan from the Nationals. Help me out here. There's got to be other guys.
There's plenty.
Some of them didn't even get traded.
Plenty of them.
A
lot of them.
Yimi Garcia he hasn't been as good, so maybe that's why they didn't get him. But he was really good for the Blue Jays for a little bit. I think Jordan Romano might be back. I don't know. He was one that he kept getting delayed on his return. Point of the matter is, there could have been guys that we got. This was like David Bednar from the Pirates. They're not going anywhere. What? I don't know. The Mariners love to just throw away their closers, so we could just get one of them. Dude, over it.
No, I know. I'm sorry, D-Train. It's definitely it's been rough for the Yankee faithful. I mean, it's been rough for the Yankee fans. The Yankees, it's definitely not a good time. I mean, how many times, like you said before, how many times could they blame Aaron Boone for this? You know, like is it much of a managerial problem than the players and obviously the management? You know, upper management. Because how much blame could Boone get?
I don't know why people would blame Boone.
Is he like? He sounds like he's definitely like a scapegoat, and that's why they got rid of Girardi back in 2017 because.
Well, Girardi also had issues with players on the team.
Okay.
Namely, Gary Sanchez,
who's no longer on the team.
Yeah, look how that turned out. And in defense of the front office, Joe Girardi got fired from the Phillies, and they instantly made it to the World Series. So
it's true. You know what? That is true.
I think blaming a manager is so outdated. I think it's more outdated than wins and losses as a statistic for a pitcher. What does a manager do?
They set up the lineup. They call the plays. Well, obviously make a call to the bullpen, and I think there's definitely a lot that they do. But like I said, you're only as good as your players. You know, Joe Torre.
But nowadays, because you said like Joe Torre, I'm sorry to cut you off again. Nowadays, they're just handed what to do from the front office, and if you don't follow these rules,
you're fired.
You're gone.
And then you're fired from Cat in the Hat.
Unless of course you're like unless of course you got juice. Like nobody's gonna fire. Like he retired, but nobody's gonna fire Tito Francona. They're gonna fire Bruce Bochy. He's got 3 rings. Go ahead. Fire him. Now he's got 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
So for people to blame Aaron Boone, like one thing that a lot of my friends say they want him to play Austin Wells more. Austin Wells is currently day-to-day. But before he got hurt, they wanted him to play Austin Wells more. I think that's a legitimate gripe. I think that is. I think if you're Aaron Boone, you have to argue until you're blue in the face with the front office and say, I don't care. Oh, no hitter over for the Diamondbacks. Lamont Wade Jr., 2-run homer, 4-2 Diamondbacks over Giants, bottom of the seventh. All right. I think you got to argue until you're blue in the face that Austin Wells has to be getting more playing time. He's better. You know how people talk about Adley Rutschman? He's
Yes.
better than Adley Rutschman in like almost every single offensive category. Of like OPS, slugging, things like that. I think counting stats probably favor Rutschman because once again the playing time piece.
Right.
But he's elite. He probably should get votes for all MLB. I don't know if he will, but he probably should get some consideration.
I agree. Yeah.
So I see that as a legitimate concern with Aaron Boone. I do. I don't know some of it. I don't know what you want. What do you want them to do? Like, what do you want him to do about it? It's on the front office. And I've been a Cashman defender for a while. But yeah, all right. So I misspoke. He has a seven less batting average, but he's higher in OBP, higher in slugging, higher in OPS, higher in OPS plus by 4 points. And this is Austin Wells compared to Adley Rutschman. In 31 less games, he has 0.4 less WAR. So they're about dead even.
Okay.
And especially since Austin Wells started batting cleanups. He's been batting cleanup. He's one of the best catchers in the league, probably the best. I just and defensively, he's phenomenal too. So I don't know what the analytics, because people always just throw analytics. I don't agree. So analytics, it must be analytics. I don't agree with it. But a legitimate thing that analytics have driven is the pitch framing. If you steal a strike, that adds up. That's the thing Trevino does clearly better than Wells is pitch framing.
Right.
That is... Isn't that a little weird?
In terms of what?
One thing. He does one thing better than Austin Wells. Austin Wells, way better hitter. Austin Wells could throw people out. Austin Wells, really good behind the plate. At everything except pitch framing. I really don't think that's a valuable thing to have.
The what, pitch framing?
Yeah. No, I think it's valuable, but I don't think it outweighs everything else.
Right. No, I agree.
Stolen bases around the league are going up. The biggest Achilles heel in the Yankees was that Red Sox game when they stole on Stroman like 9 times or something like that.
Yeah.
That showed teams around the league that, if Trevino is behind the dish, we could just keep running on them. And if it's someone like Stroman who has a slow delivery to the plate, then we could just take them out of the game. Now, obviously, not every team is as young and athletic as the Red Sox, but that's the point. You get the point I'm trying to make.
I do.
So I see that as a legitimate argument. The lack of a consistent lineup is a legitimate argument. Other than that, and even the lineup part of it, even those decisions that the front office want to do by pushing pitch framing and things like that, I don't know how much of it is really on him. And it's not fair. It's not fair. But if the Yankees really wanted to win, what they would do is say, give full reins over to Aaron Boone for the last month of the season. Your call. Your call. You're the manager. You're the coach. Your call. As Bill Belichick famously said, attributed to Bill Parcells before him, if you want me to cook, you got to let me get the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think you got to give him full control now. because the fan base has no faith in the front office. The fan base has no faith in the manager. The fan base has no faith in the players.
That doesn't sound like a good situation. Even though
No.
you guys have a great record though, and you guys are still
But
not
what
that
does it
far out of
matter?
it. You guys are only
But what does
still.
it matter? It doesn't matter if we make the
This
playoffs
is
if
a
we don't win a
yearly
World
thing with the
Series.
Yankees, though, D-Train. It's the same thing. The
Yeah.
Yankees, especially the fans,
Yeah.
they have a great start to the year. They'd be like 50-10, and then they'll lose like the next to 30. And then Yankee fans are in a state of panic, and then they either win the division or they're out of the playoff, or they're in the playoffs somehow, and then they lose in the first round, or losing the ALCS to the Astros. That look in your face, but
Yeah.
But like I said, but either way, it's just it's definitely this doesn't sound like a good situation, but I feel like it is a good situation because, like I said, you guys are still tied with the Orioles for first place. It's not exactly over yet. You know, it sucks that maybe you guys probably could have added the bullpen piece. You guys have the prospects to make trades. It's not like, especially you got Spencer Jones and Dominguez down there in
I
the
wouldn't
farm
trade them.
system.
I would rather have Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez than a closer this year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, not even if it was Patana Sky, like you said before, you think they were good that they stayed put.
Yeah. Yeah, those two players are too valuable.
That's true.
Aaron Judge can't play center field forever.
He'll go back to the right.
One of them is going to replace Verdugo. We know that.
When is Spencer Jones going to come up? He's going to come up soon?
I don't know. I don't know why he's not up yet.
He should be. That's
they
outrageous.
said supposedly
that should grind your gears more than
but
anything.
they didn't call up Jason Dominguez because they wanted him to get more reps in the minor leagues. Similar thing, similar train of thought, whatever, to the Mets not calling up Luis Angel Acuna.
Right.
Okay. I understand, and like I said, I understand the train of thought, especially what her, in comparison, like I said earlier, Verdugo has been really good lately. Do you want to take playing time away from one of the hotter bats in the lineup? Then throw around Jason Dominguez with all that pressure on him and things like that? Or would you rather him ease into a season? Especially coming off of Tommy John surgery. All right. As much as I don't like it, I can understand the thinking. What I can't understand is why did we send Michael Tonkin down? We need all the bullpen help we can get, and he's been one of our better relievers. That one, I have to say, that to me is very concerning. That to me is very concerning. He's had a 3.38 ERA with the Yankees this year. His ERA plus is 1.24. He's been more reliable than a lot of the other. Oh, Camilo Duval. That could have been somebody we get at the deadline too. Although he's struggling this season. I mean, I get it. That you don't want Dominguez up. But Tonkin, why? Why? I don't like to, bash players. You know that. I try to be pretty objective. I don't know if I am, but I try my best. What I can't understand is sometimes people make, mistakes for you and you got to learn from them. Sometimes, if people they always say this around draft time. If teams keep passing on somebody, well, there's got to be a reason for it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I understand on paper, Mark Leiter Jr.'s splitter is one of the best pitches in baseball. That being said, he's still like a fringe player in the league. That should tell you something. If his name was Joe Smith, is he getting this kind of treatment?
Probably not.
Because he's Mark Leiter Jr. His uncle, his dad and uncle both play for the Yankees. They're both very good pitchers. Jack is a pretty good pitcher. He had a good start yesterday or 2 days ago for the Rangers. 2 days ago. That you think yeah, the pedigree is there. Like he's a good player. Like he's better than maybe he actually is.
Right.
I'm not saying nepotism. No. And we need lefties out of the pen. We only have one lefty out of our bullpen right now. It's Tim Meza. Tim Meza is a Tim Hill. Tim Hill's been phenomenal. Tim Hill used to be a closer, so I'm okay with if they want to give Tim Hill that kind of power. I'm all right with it. Tim Meza is our other lefty. He has a 7.64 ERA. Thank you very much for playing, buddy. And he was horrible tonight too. Shocking. Ron Mauricio, hopefully he stays up and they don't just keep, screwing around with him. Phil Bickford.
Ooh, I know that name.
We kept Phil Bickford over Michael Tonkin. We kept Phil freaking Bickford over Michael Tonkin.
I know that name.
What did Michael Tonkin do to deserve this? He's been nothing but a company guy.
He's been having a very tough year.
He's been on the Twins. He's been on the Mets. He played himself into a job. He did everything that was asked from him for the Yankees. He started off really good for the Yankees. He struggled. He bounced back. We're sending him down for Phil Bickford?
Yes.
For Phil Bickford?
The one and only.
Yo. Why?
I wish I could tell you. I mean, you got to talk to Brian Cashman about that.
He's barely even played. He played Sunday the 1st against St. Louis, 1.1 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, 1 strikeout. All right. No earned runs. He played against the Nationals, 1 inning pitch, 1 strikeout. All right. And then before that, his last game was against the Blue Jays in June. So his ERA is high, but it could be a fraudulent high ERA. My thing is, why are we changing horses midstream? To use the old Abraham Lincoln quote. What? We have this one guy, Tonkin, who's been great for us out of the pen. And we have some other guy who's barely played. If I'm Michael Tonkin, I would be red hot pissed. I'd be like, have you ever seen the movie Major League?
Yes.
Do you know when Ricky Vaughn, Charlie Sheen's character,
yes,
thinks that he got cut and it was just a joke played on him by Corbin Burnson's character, Roger Dorn? Yeah. And he starts throwing stuff in the manager's locker and the manager's office, yelling, screaming, cursing. If I was Michael Tonkin, that's how it'd be. If I was Aaron Judge, that's how it'd be. Getting rid of one of our best relievers. All right. We're going to wrap up on the Yankees. I just had to get that off my chest. I also just, for argument's sake, they are a half game behind Baltimore. Baltimore got creamed by the White Sox today. The Yankees have, for their schedule coming up, because obviously this all matters, we have the blah, 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 off tomorrow at Chicago for a 3-game series against the Cubs. And the projected starters are Luis Gil against Javier Assad. That should be winnable, but you never know. Clark Schmidt against Jordan Wicks. He's okay. Garrett Cole versus former Yankee Jameson Taillon.
Okay.
And then we got the Royals. That could be a tough out. They have a really good pitching staff. So this is not easy sledding. The Cubs just pitched a combined no-hitter tonight, which we'll talk about shortly. I'm guessing we want to talk Mets now?
Yes.
Take it away. Your team.
Okay. So I want to say thank you. I'm going to clap up for that. that critiques on the Yankees. You just did a couple seconds ago. Um, my Mets, man, a lot going on. Riding high on a 7-game win streak. They just swept the Red Sox and they swept the White Sox. They were taking every sock they can. So you better hide your socks, and because the Mets are, Mets are coming, and they're ready to. They've been destroying the Red Sox, and they had a great series against them. I was against the last game that they just did. I'm gonna say so. I mean, I just like the series. I saw Rich Hill play. So, and if you saw, I
Okay.
remember. I think it was Keith or Gary that mentioned it. It was Ron that they said that Rich Hill played before SNY was even on the air, and it's true. It's not a lot of players that are around from like the early 2000s. It's really only Rich Hill, I guess, right?
Do you know who went to college the same time as him at the
I
same
do,
school?
I do.
Tom Brady.
That's right, your cousin,
Yeah, my sixth cousin, supposedly.
supposedly.
Supposedly, I don't. I honestly don't even know if it's true or not. But yeah, supposedly.
But no, the Mets they're riding high. Like I said, they looking really good. They had a good road trip against the Diamondbacks, and then the White Sox, and then against the Padres. They took 2 out of 4 against the Padres. It really should have been 3, but obviously the bullpen didn't say otherwise last Sunday. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday beforehand against the Padres. I like the Diamondback series. It took 2 out of 3. That wasn't easy. Again, it should have been a swept. But like I said, am I upset? Sure, because they should have took the games that they blown. But it's baseball. It's sports. It happens. But like I said, am I upset? Yes. But am I happy? Yeah, also, yes, because they took the series and they were competitive, except the Padres series that was tied. Um, Lindor keeps making the case to win MVP. And Dennis, you want me to play the video later after or
I mean, you can play now since you brought it up. I mean, whenever you feel like.
right? No, yeah. So Lindor's been on pace to win MVP. He's had a really, really great year. Like I said, crazy to think that he's been batting 190. And then I said it. I'm like, and even Steve Cohn even said it. Like the fans should give him a cheer, give him a round of standing ovation when he comes to the plate at Citi Field. And it shows patience is a virtue, and it shows that it took time. It took time for him to kind of get used to the season, and also going back in the leadoff spot. That definitely had a big factor in it. And it's crazy to think that he's up there in the MVP races with like Shohei, also Freddie Freeman. When was the last time that a Met was talked about in MVP talks? Can you think of it?
Um, Probably 19 with Pete Alonso.
Probably, or you can make the argument Carlos Beltran in '06.
Well, David Wright did win MVP after that, didn't he? Or
I
was it
don't
that the year that Troy Tulowitzki won it over him?
I think probably Troy won it in '07.
Right.
I don't think David Wright never won an MVP.
I think he came close a few times.
He probably has.
But yeah, I know like Daniel Murphy had some good seasons, but that was the postseason, so that doesn't count.
Unfortunately, that was off the
Yeah,
Mets.
he never won the David Wright never won MVP, but he finished the highest he got was 6th in 2012. I'm sorry, 4th in a different year. What year was that? Oh, 07, yeah.
Okay.
That was the year
Um,
Jimmy Rollins won it.
yeah, but he's been looking great, and everybody's been advocating and voting that he should get the MVP. And like I said, it's crazy. I remember when Lindor first came. It was not easy for him playing in New York, man. You remember it? I was on him. Like I was getting on under his. I was getting on. Everyone was critiquing. I was critiquing him to smithereens, and you would have made the argument that if he didn't sign that extension, he probably would have walked because he would have saw it not as a fit, especially in New York market. It's you got to adjust and it takes time. And it's definitely took a long time. So, but I like seeing the success of Lindor, especially defensively and especially offensively. If he wasn't a shortstop for the Mets right now, they would not be where they are right now. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
And so, pitching has been great. Sean Manaea is going to go on the market. How can you not? He's got an opt out, so he's definitely going to take advantage of it. He's going to get the bag. So it might be shot. It might be sad when he leaves, but maybe they find a way to keep him. We'll see. Even Severino too. Severino's look good. I said at the beginning of the year, I said watch out for the Mets. They're a sleeper team, and here I am. Almost a game and half a game from the Braves. They can still chase the Padres and the Diamondbacks. It's not like they wouldn't have a tiebreaker or anything. They swept basically swept the Padres at first, and then they took 2 out of 4. They have the most wins, and the pitching's been upkeep. And this is all without Kodai Senga, who supposedly might pitch at the end of the year in between the series against the Braves. It is now October. September. It is now September, not October. Forgive me, folks. So I know Labor Day just happened. It's not October yet. Football season is actually just starting tomorrow. But like I said, it is September baseball. This is one of the best times in sports history, in sports year, in the calendar year. You got football starting back up, college football. Hockey and basketball training camps are coming around too. And you got baseball, September baseball, where teams are looking to lock up to play more than just 1 week, just one more month of baseball. They want to keep going, if you know what I mean. They're saying they don't want the season to end, and obviously they want to make it to the top. But back to the Mets, it's tough because these teams won't lose, and it's unfortunate that the Braves had to play the Rockies. And then the Cubs, obviously, they're the next team behind the Mets to take over a wild card spot. Which did have that no hitter. And so I like what's going on with the Mets right now. The atmosphere, it's electric. I definitely want to go to one more game before the football season starts. I gotta look up. I'll tell you. Maybe I'll tell you more about it after the show. But I like the state of the Mets right now, and hopefully Lindor keeps making the case for MVP. Dennis, you want to add anything before I play the video?
Yeah, I mean, Lindor's not going to win the MVP because Ohtani's going to be the first 50-50 player.
Probably going to be Ohtani. Not to.
Do I think 50-50 is overrated now? Yeah. Or it's never been done, but stolen bases as a stat are overrated. Yeah, they are.
Really?
That being said, stolen bases, yeah, they are. They just are. The bases are closer together now.
That's true.
They're bigger. And the pickoff things, I don't know. I think it's a little whatever. But stolen bases are also a big part of Lindor's game. He just became he's got 5 seasons of 25 stolen bases and 30. What is it? Him and A-Rod, what do they do? I forget. I had it somewhere.
I think more than 4 seasons with 30 home runs.
No, we're thinking of 2 different things.
Let's see if I can find it.
Gosh.
Well, Lindor is on pace right now to have his best 162 game year, according to stats shown by SUNY TV. In year 10, Lindor is on pace to have the best season of his career, obviously, with 34 home runs, 95 RBIs, 30 stolen bases, and 8.2 F/WAR. That is, that was obviously 2 days ago. I wonder how it could be now.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the exact stat I'm looking for.
I'm trying to look for it too. He's the first shortstop in MLB history to record 3 25-plus home runs and 25 stolen bases in the seasons. I think that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw him in. It's him, A-Rod, and Ernie Banks to be the only shortstops that have a certain rank. It might be 30-30 seasons or something like that. Yep. Yeah. A-Rod and Lindor are the only shortstops in MLB history with 530-plus home run seasons.
Right.
And that's where the stat was, but Ernie Banks also did it. So that original report was wrong.
Yeah, but either way, it's cool though to see that Lindor. The Mets do have a superstar on Lindor.
Yeah,
and like I said, hopefully. So I love Lindor. Like I said, hopefully I get it. That might be the next jersey I might get.
We were wearing his shirt.
I am wearing his shirt. That's true. That is true.
And defensively, he is an anchor
He
at
was great.
shortstop.
He's great
He's
defensively.
automatic.
Who knew how big that trade would have been for the Mets looking back? I feel like looking back at the trade, it
Yeah.
definitely you could say it's worked out so pretty good. Diaz has been lights. It was had one of the best years ever as a closer.
Mhm.
He's still highly regarded even after his freak accident injury in the World Baseball Classic. He's had his ups and downs this year, but he's coming back off an injury, so hopefully he comes back and he looks good. I mean, like I'm saying, hopefully he's keeps it up, and I think he's been looking good. I think he's been adjusting. Alvarez been playing decent, and yeah. So no, I think it's pretty cool that Lindor is in MVP talks because it's not every time you see that. That to me, I think is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I think he should get second MVP behind Otani. Unless, of course, I'm really just blanking on somebody massive.
One of the other things though is Lindor plays every game though too. You never see him miss a game.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see a lot of people being swayed by that. I do think, I mean, one, he never misses a game, but it's also like I know the argument people make is like, well, Otani's a DH, but it is a position, man. Like famously, Mark Mosley, kicker, won a NFL MVP in a lockout year. Was that 86,
I think 80.
87, something like that? Whatever that lockout year was, you're better at football history than I am. Whatever. We move on. Um, and people like that would never happen today, obviously, because it's the quarterback of the year award. But it is a legitimate position. And if it's a legitimate position, it should be held the same, to the same standard as other positions.
Right.
Same reason why I think people that don't think closers or relievers should be in the Hall of Fame. I think they're stupid. It's a legitimate position. So personally, like I hate the argument, but I do think it's fair because you're going to look at all the stats side by side. That doesn't do Lindor justice because he's been the best player in the National League aside from 1 month. And he's been by far the best player in the National League aside from that first month and a half or whatever.
Right. So like I said, I think it's great that he's been in MVP talks, and he definitely, hopefully, is going to gain some respect when next year he can definitely get his first All-Star vote as a Met.
He should have had it this year.
He should have
I
had it. He
don't.
should have had it this year. Either him or Nimmo. Nothing against Polar Bear Pete. Even Evan even said it that Pete shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
But let's play. We got a clip that Ron Darling talked about on MLB Network.
Yes.
About the NL MVP, and it's definitely very interesting. So definitely take a listen.
Take a look at the Baseball Reference and Fangraph NL WAR leaders this season. Now, there's different numbers because Fangraphs use a different defensive metric than Baseball Reference WAR does. But Shohei Ohtani by the B WAR is ahead of Lindor, but in the F WAR, Francisco Lindor is leading all of baseball. And so you start looking at those numbers right now. And Ron, you take a look at that. And so one category, Ohtani's there, and he seems to be the favorite to win the MVP. But I don't think people are really looking at Francisco Lindor in the National League as really the type of season he's putting together.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking as closely as they should. Listen, we live in a world now where we want to know who the MVP is in June or July. If people were just patient and wait for these 20-plus games to play out and see, the Dodgers haven't won the NL West yet. Let's see if they win the NL West. The Mets haven't gotten into the postseason. Let's see if that happens. I think Lindor getting the MVP really is contingent on if the Mets make the postseason. Why do I think that Lindor's the MVP? Since moving into the leadoff spot, they were 22 and 33. They're 53 and 31 since. Everything you could ask from a leadoff hitter, he has done. 23 home runs, 63 RBIs once he hit in that spot. OPS 937. Those are numbers. But his leadership on and off the field, what he's done to be a leader to Mark Vientos, who plays to his right defensively, how he's gone to the mound on several occasions to make things or change the tide of an inning. All of those things play into it, and I think those are important. Listen, it's not that he plays every day, he's an everyday player. He plays every day. 162 games he'll play, knock on wood, at the end of the season. That's 1,450 innings. And that is a difference maker when you're talking about a DH as opposed to Lindor.
Yeah, John, so Lindor is an everyday player, defensively and offensively, versus Ohtani just as a DH. And when you start to factor in the total chances defensively and the ways that Lindor can impact the game as an everyday player versus a DH, look at the differences here.
Yeah, I mean, Lindor has been amazing both ways, as Ron referenced, an incredible leader on that team with the young players. He does it all. Charity, I was at his charity earlier in the day before we went on the field with all the young kids, the Mr. Smile. He had a dentist there with him talking about teeth and baseball. It was great. The guy's been amazing. I still think it's probably going to be a difficult case for him to win. I think he's got more chance than Bobby Witt Jr. in the other league. Simply because he is now up against a DH, and a DH has never won the award. You know, it's just a matter of, is someone going to look at the all-around game versus the historic nature of Ohtani, and who never had a 44 man before? He's probably going to be a 50-50 man. That's probably going to be tough to overcome, but Lindor certainly has an MVP type season.
Yeah, I think the challenge for writers in the voting is you're going to have a 50-50 guy and a 30-30 guy. Now, does the defense for Lindor make up for 20 fewer homers and 20 fewer stolen bases than what Ohtani's putting together?
I think it does for me. Listen, it's hard to sit on our platform here and say that Ohtani's not one of the greatest players I've ever seen. He's the best athlete we've probably ever had in the game, and he's having a historic season. But it's not without precedent. There's been historic seasons. If you want to look all the way to Ted Williams in 1941, he's the last guy to hit 406, and he didn't win the MVP. He had the most hits that year. He had the most base on balls, runs scored, on and on and on. McGwire, of course, with the 70 home runs. And Mike Trout in 2012 had a monster season, and that didn't result in one of the few years where he didn't win the MVP. I look at different things as well. You know, a lot of the things that Ohtani's accomplishing, right, as a DH, fresh legs. Does that allow him to steal 50 bases as opposed to being out in the field for 1,450 innings? So those kind of things. Now, I don't want to disparage, but I think at some point, you know, Ohtani might not even be the most valuable player on his team on certain nights because Betts and Freeman are that good. Lindor is the difference maker on this Mets team. And when they were 22-33, all they were talking about what they were going to get back for Alonso. Because of the difference maker Lindor, maybe we're talking about a postseason.
Yeah, listen, the best record since May 30th, and it has been an extraordinary season for Francisco Lindor.
So, yeah, I mean, you heard it right there and then. I mean, Lindor is the franchise. It's not Pete Alonso. You know, it's not Severino. You know, it's not Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom took the money and went to Texas. And I hope he's recovering from Tommy John. And I actually can't wait to see him pitch again. You know, love deGrom. Nothing for the best for the guy, you know. But like I said, Ron Darling basically just said he is the franchise. Mm-hmm. When they were 22-33, everybody pointed to him and what he's going to do. Been a big mentor to Mark Vientos. And like I said before, he plays every game. And, you know, John Heyman did make a good point. It's going to be hard for him still going to be a hard, difficult case. I get that. I think what would make it more of an easier case is if they make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If Lindor helps the Mets find a way to make the playoffs, his case for the MVP gets much easier. Like I said, if they make the playoffs, it's a big conversation, you know? And I think they definitely hit it on the head. I like the stats that they brought up that Mike Trout, he had a 10.5 WAR in 2012 and he didn't win it. Jesus.
That was the Miguel Cabrera Triple Crown year.
Yeah, no, you can't go against that.
Yeah, you can't go against that.
No.
I remember at the time everybody was like flipping out about it too. Like, whoa, look at his WAR. Yeah, and it's like,
you can't go against
Cabrera won the first Triple Crown since Carl Yastrzemski. So
yeah, you can't go against the Triple Crown
on there, you know.
But you know, so yeah, that's how big Lindor's impact on the team was. What'd you get out of that?
I don't disagree. I think if the season ended today, I'd vote Lindor.
Really? Okay.
over Ohtani.
Wow. Okay.
Ohtani hasn't had to carry his team. Although, you can argue he did when Freddie Freeman was down because his son was sick and Mookie Betts was injured around the same time, that Ohtani was the guy. And the Dodgers collapsed. And now they're, treading water in their division.
Mm.
Lindor dragged the Mets out of hell. I mean, really, Lindor and Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea should be a top 3 or 4 Cy Young vote getter.
No, I agree.
Which is crazy to think about, that a team could have the Cy Young winner and the MVP but still miss the playoffs. Or at least somebody who would get a lot of votes, top 5 in each. Because I can't think of who else would be ahead of Manaea. Sale, obviously, Sale's going to win it this year. Which good for him. Late career resurgence, everything like that. Finally a healthy season. Awesome. But, I mean, I don't know who else you would put ahead of him. Manaea. He might be second. Wheeler? Eflin?
I think it's definitely between.
Nola. I always get Eflin and Nola confused.
It definitely Manaea definitely should be up there for the impact that he's on the team. He's had that much of an impact that he might opt out of his contract just to get more, And he said the other day he likes the adventure, the thrill of free agency. Where, in my opinion, when you want to stay where you had when you want to stay with one team the rest of your career, why the players like to bounce around a lot? It's like, Manaea's got a good thing going in New York. I don't know why. Like, I don't blame him for opting out. I would do the
money
same.
He's going to get is going to be crazy.
Right. No, I don't blame him for opting out, but at the same time, try to get more money from the Mets and stay with them. He could be the lefty ace, and then they could have Sanger or Corbin Burns be the righty ace. Hopefully, they land Corbin Burns.
I always forget that he's a lefty, Sean Manaea.
And like you said, I remember you were telling me for the longest time it's a great addition, and I never thought I would agree with you more. Well, I'm saying, like, I'm glad you proved me you proved right, of course.
Yeah, I'm glad I was proven right because
yeah.
I like, it's not just like that I like to be right, but Sean Manaea is kind of an afterthought. A player who at times looked good when he was in Oakland, but never really panned out the way people thought he would. Then the Giants tapped into something late last year, and that carried over into this year. Good for him, man. Good for him, really. I like to see guys that are, fringe players. Like, I was excited when Lucas Giolito went from being the worst pitcher in the league to being a Cy Young winner. I was happy for him. So I'm glad. Same thing with Sean Manaea.
Yeah.
And real quick, though, there is a path for Francisco Lindor to win the MVP and for Sean Manaea to make it real close to win the Cy Young Award. What if the Mets win the division?
It's possible. It's possible.
7.5 games out, which is crazy.
I said it maybe like a month and a half ago on the show. The division is possible. You remember it. You remember it.
But since then, it's been harder to win than it was then. Because the Mets lost some games. The Phillies kind of righted their ship. Whatever. Mets on a 7-game winning streak. Braves on a 2-game winning streak. Phillies beat the Blue Jays earlier today. 4-game winning streak. They're going up against Miami for 4 straight games. So, it's not going to be easy, but it is possible. And the Mets have them for 7 more games? The Phillies?
They got the Phillies for at least 7 more games, yeah. They play the Reds this upcoming weekend.
So, it's possible.
Yeah.
Not easy, not likely, but if the Mets win the division, I don't think you can make an argument against Lindor to win the MVP. I really don't. First 50-50 season. I get it. First 70 home run season, Mark McGwire didn't win the MVP. People want to talk about 50-50 and 40-40 and stuff like that. Alfonso Soriano was 6th in MVP voting that year. 6th. And 06 when he was on the Nationals. Actually, I think I'm wrong. I think it might have been even worse. Because
Let me
I don't
see.
know if you remember or not. I'm like a huge Alfonso Soriano stan. Love that guy.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you want to take a guess when Alfonso Soriano was 40-40? Do you want to know what he would oh no, never mind. I was looking at the next year. Yeah, he was 6th. Ryan Howard won it that year. Ryan Howard was a beast. He had 58 home runs and 149 stolen bases. He should have been higher than 6th. That's crazy. But, whatever the reason was the reason. So there is a precedent established for when players get these benchmarks. They don't always get, they don't always get the award. Now I'm just going off the other 40-40 players. Canseco did win MVP when he had 42 homers and 40 stolen bases in 88. Ronald Acuna Jr. won it last year. A-Rod was a 40-40 guy. I think he did win it that year. A-Rod won a bunch of MVPs, so he probably did.
But
That
anyways,
was 98. No. Oh, hold on. More evidence on the side of Lindor. Do you want to know what A-Rod was when he had 42 home runs and 46 stolen bases? Do you want to know what he finished with? This is a
yes.
crime. Take a guess.
Was it in the top 5?
No. Worse than that.
Top 10.
Yes.
He was 10.
9th.
What?
That's insane. Number 1 was Juan Gonzalez had 157 RBIs. Hard to argue against that. But still. I mean, it definitely should have been A-Rod. Nomar was second that year over A-Rod. That's insane.
That's insane. But anyways,
I like Nomar too.
Let's wrap it up quick on the Mets because we got to talk about Shohei and his him coming back to Anaheim after signing up obviously with the Dodgers in the offseason. I like the Mets right now. I like what's going on, and I hope they keep it up. Every game is important now. It's September. Every game. This should be October baseball right now. Like this should be. They should have the playoff baseball mentality right now. Every game is important. Every game is huge. Braves aren't losing for some reason, and the teams are hungry to make it. If the Mets don't, I'm not taking no playoffs for an exception for my limit. You know what I mean? My restrictions. I want them to make the playoffs and then go from there. If the season would be absolute failure if they don't make the playoffs. I know people weren't expecting them to be as good. Me, otherwise, I thought so. I thought they were supposed to be good. So, but other people didn't. So, the way that they've played and the games they've come back from and win, we saw them with the Alvarez home run, and then many other times, many other games. So, like, it's gonna suck because a lot of games that they didn't win are gonna haunt them. But that is what it is.
Yeah.
That's sports. That's baseball. And I hope that they play good against the Reds. They're coming in. They're looking like they're hungry too. How are the Reds doing?
Well, they just annihilated the Astros today. I know that. Whatever.
Let's see. They got we got Quintana pitching on Friday, and then we got Manaea Saturday, and then Sunday they got Severino going up. So that's going to be interesting. Then they got to travel to Toronto and then travel to Philly. So it's going to get tough from here. After Toronto, they got division rivals for next 10 games. So yeah, and that's really it. But you ready for the Shohei clip? Do you want to tell the viewers, talk to him about Shohei?
Yeah, just real quick before we switch gears. Atlanta has Toronto for 3 games. Then they have Cincinnati, then Washington, then LA. So who knows how they do with that? They have one more against Colorado, but who knows? Blue Jays offensively, they've been pretty good lately. It's just the pitching hasn't been as ironed out. Whatever. Yeah, so Ohtani, welcome back to Anaheim. Doesn't get the video package, doesn't get the huge kind of welcome party. kind of, I don't know, kind of weird.
You think so?
I think it's a little weird. I don't know. The Angels are a weird organization, though.
I feel like they definitely could have made the case to honor him because, I mean, he did do a lot for that franchise. He made them kind of relevant again.
Yeah, he certainly did.
So, and he had a MVP seasons and all that. Obviously, they didn't make it to the playoffs as much of the World Series, but he still was big for that organization. So I guess you could have made that. They should have make the argument that they definitely probably could have did a video. Why they didn't, I don't know. I guess it sucks because they had the opportunity to trade him, and instead he walked. I get it because they don't want to be known as the team that traded Ohtani away. At the end of the day, you're just costing your franchise like the future. You could have got him for like a Herschel Walker type trade, though. I feel like, you know what I mean. So, because he kind of walked, and that was really it. The Angels kind of didn't really get anything. He was shut down for pitching, so all he was going to do was hit. So what's the difference? But definitely crazy. But let me play the clip real quick.
Here on September 3rd, 2024, his first regular season game back at Angel Stadium on the 1-year anniversary of his last game as an Angel.
Got to be a lot of emotions going on right now, but he's about as stoic a player as we see. But I'll tell you what, insides have to be bubbling.
Shohei Ohtani. Whatever side of the Freeway Series, people standing in appreciation as we all witness greatness. The lefty Reed Detmer steps into the first pitch. It's ball one, up and in. 6 years as an Angel, a Rookie of the Year, a 2-time unanimous MVP, and 3 All-Stars. Strike one on the outside corner. A mighty rip on 95. Detmer's option in front 1-2. Said in spring his visit here, it was meaningful to be back playing in front of the Big A and the fans that meant so much to him his first 6 seasons, but the first regular season meeting was going to be different. Well, here we are. Stays alive at 1-2. Detmers comes home and misses in the dirt.
I mean, I think there's always going to be the memories, and look at it, the place isn't packed. The emotional response. I mean, it wasn't overwhelming, was it?
It was nice. On 2-2. Grounded to the right side. Shonowell on the backhand. Detmer's covering the bag, and there's the first out of the game. So from Shohei's standpoint, you got that one out of the way.
All right, what do you make out of that?
Yeah, it was. I felt like it was kind of underwhelming. I'm surprised. First of all, I'm surprised that the place wasn't packed. Ohtani's welcome back night.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't look at a good atmosphere. The crowd basically kind of was like that. Well, like they didn't do a welcome video, but the crowd kind of showed.
Standing ovation.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the little statistics on the scoreboard there.
Yeah,
Nice.
decent.
It's kind of yeah, man. I mean, kind of weird that. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Did you know Jesse Winker was the first player to do what he did tonight?
Hit a grand
To
slam.
hit a grand slam with 2 different teams in the same season
He's the first player.
since 2019. I should have specified. Kind of cool. Yeah, man. Like there is an alternate universe where Ohtani comes back this year and the Angels are better, even without Trout. They really haven't been that bad. Did you see this Ben Joyce kid they have?
He threw 105 miles per hour.
105.5 miles an hour. Flamethrower. They traded away Carlos Estevez to the Phillies. Another closer the Yankees could have gotten. And they don't even miss a beat. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It must be insane. I can't imagine the catcher in his hand after catching that 105-mile-per-hour heater.
Yeah.
You got to have really good hand coordination and have a good eye for, I don't know how catchers do it, honestly, man.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up, something pretty cool happened today. Cubs no-hitter.
Yeah.
Combined no-hitter from the Chicago Cubs. Congratulations to them. The starting pitcher for this one was a Mr. Shota Imanaga. I've heard it both ways. And yeah, dude, how cool is that? Combined no-hitter. It's
I remember I was thinking of the Mets and their combined no-hitter 2 years ago.
Yeah, 12-0 Cubs rout of the Pittsburgh Pirates. The loss, former Yankee Domingo Germán, who went 3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. Imanaga, on the other hand, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, obviously 0 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. In his potentially Rookie of the Year winning season. Then, who was it, Nate Pearson? Came in. Inning pitched, and then ending the game was Porter Hodge. So they're the 3 pitchers credited for the combined no-hitter. But, we all know combined no-hitters are mostly a team stat. Also, something kind of cool. The first time this has ever been done in Major League Baseball history, Jarren Duran, the first player to have 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and 40 doubles and 10 or more triples in a season.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him, man. That's kind of cool. Leading the league in doubles with 43 and triples with 13. So he's probably going to get some MVP votes as well. He was also the All-Star Game MVP this year for the Red Sox. So
yeah, he's looked good, Jared, man.
Yeah.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I can't recall if I missed anything. I'll take a quick look. But yeah. Oh, Tuesday, the Dodgers are getting Yoshinobu Yamamoto back.
We're fine. It's too late for my fantasy team.
Are you eliminated?
Oh, definitely. My team is not in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot you were really bad. I wasn't saying that to bust your chops. I forgot.
It's okay.
It was a rough season for the buddies.
Yeah, it was not easy for the buddies. Fantasy baseball has not been easy for me after the first year. It is what it is. I've actually done a better job of keeping up to date with it too. I just didn't have the good players.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's what happens. But all right, I'm gonna start wrap up.
All right. I think that does it for us.
All right. We thank you for joining us in another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale. Saying so long, and we'll see you next time.